show called This You May Ask, so I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Jessica Hadari. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to me to connect with like-minded women. Now, if you've never met before, then my name is Ray, and I love to help women to crossroads in their life, heal their past, create their future, and transform their present so they can take charge of their destiny in the here and now. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use future life progression, past life regression, angelic Reiki, guided meditation, angel oracle cards, and hypnosis to help women who feel lost get clear on their reason for being here and their life purpose. And I've also created a transformational journey to help you take charge of your destiny and a journey through the lifetimes. Now, each episode of the show will cover various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Jessica Hadari, about the beautiful collective healing, nurturing, empowerment, and community created when women come together as a collective and the benefits it brings to the world. Now, 10 years ago, Jessica saw that many amazing women involved in work that was transforming the world didn't have a platform to share their projects, collaborations, and business ideas with others. So she decided to take matters into her own hands and create an alliance of women educators, healers, leaders called Feminine Frequency. For over 10 years, her celebrated networking events have presented a new paradigm of heart centered women's leadership, centered around wisdom sharing and collective business building. Now, Jessica has also been a business coach for over 15 years, and during the pandemic, many of her clients celebrated their first 5K, 10K, 20K, $50K dollars income months. Now, Jessica also creates a community as a mother, hospice volunteer, and a yoga teacher. And having been part of the Feminine Frequency Global Leaders and Healers Festival, I can definitely say Jessica is absolutely amazing at bringing beautiful, inspiring women together. So without further delay, hello, Jessica, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Welcome, welcome. It's such a pleasure to be here. I could just listen to your voice all day. And I'm just so enamored with this beautiful collaborative platform that you've created of just having these conversations with other wise women and bringing women together. So, yeah, I see you, sister. It takes one to know one. And it's such an honor to be here with you and with all of you who are watching.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's lovely. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that not only can you share this show, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Jessica and I want you to be part of this conversation. So please do not be shy. So Jessica, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how communities of women can actually bring benefits to the world?
Well, one of the things that I have found very heartening about the last few years, especially with just global awareness around the Me Too movement and so many extraordinary women stepping into positions of leadership just in the last few years. I feel like there are many more conversations like this around, the importance of women coming together, the importance of women supporting women, both in our personal lives, like almost elevating our awareness and our conversation, elevating our game around how we can be there for each other as, sisters in community, but also weaving together in, business and leadership and partnership. So I feel like this kind of conversation is in some ways more easy than it was, let's say, 10 years ago. I feel like there's just more of a collective understanding of how important it is for women to support women, because the patriarchy isn't going to do it for us. you know?
No, we've been trying that for hundreds of years.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just happy, I guess, as you were, inviting me to speak, just feeling really grateful to be a woman who is, like you, a woman in the West, who has a platform, very incredibly grateful, incredibly privileged, and to also live at this moment in time where it's just easier for our voices to be heard, for us to connect across continents. 'Cause you're in Ireland, I'm here in the States. So just felt like a wave of gratitude that we get to have this conversation in the way that we get to have it. Um, yeah, and I'm totally happy to go down whatever rabbit holes you want me to go down. I feel like I have so much to say, so much to say.
Oh wow! Well, we like it. We like it when people have so much to say. So 10 years ago, when you were starting out, how difficult was it?
Well, it was interesting. So I actually, my the catalyst that had me start creating women's events, women's gatherings, getting women healers together for networking. I was actually in my 20s, was training to be a holistic health practitioner. I was deeply in the healing arts, and I really thought that that was my path, my career path, and was in school for many, many years. And really, the two jewels that came out of that journey were, number one, I learned so much around healing and self-healing and holistic health in a way that has really served me in the last 20 years as I've aged, to know how to take care of this temple, this body, without too much intervention from Western medicine. But the other jewel that came out of that was, in that process of being in school for so many years, taking workshops, certification courses, I ended up meeting so many incredible women healers who I went to school with. We went to workshops together. We were in communities together, being invited to go to, women's circles and women's events through other women's networks. And I just got to the point where I was like, would have conversations with local women right here, and just like, wait a minute, but you don't know her, and you don't know her. And I was just like, I need to get all these amazing women together so they can meet each other, because I really understood in the holistic healing world, and even in the medical world, the concept of client referral is very known. It's not, sometimes in the coaching industry, people can get into kind of a competitive mindset, and maybe be reluctant to collaborate or to send clients to each other out of a kind of a fear-based mindset. But in the healing world, in the wellness world, it makes sense for, a chiropractor to send a client to an acupuncturist, and an acupuncturist to send a client. It's more of a thing.
Yeah.
So, so I just was like, you all need to meet each other. And I feel grateful that I happen to already be connected to so many women who really innately understood the power of women coming together. So I learned a lot from them, some of them being older and more experienced healers at that time when I was in my 20s. So I just learned so much around that experience of actually taking the first steps to bringing women together, around being networked with other wise women who were a few steps ahead of me at that time, and being already in a community that was very open to the power of women's wisdom, women's circles, women supporting women. So I feel like I got to almost like grow up in a very unusual bubble. And then since then, it's just been my mission to connect with as many people all over the world who are open, like you. I mean, you're such a wonderful example. But yeah, all the twists and turns of life, and allowing, I think, for all of us to allow ourselves to be touched by the wisdom of any of the women around us that we feel drawn to. That's a really great first place to start for any woman who is maybe feeling a little alone or not really knowing how to make some initial first connections, is to just, like, first and foremost, follow your heart. Who do you resonate with? And then trusting that resonance when you're reaching out and making those connections.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. Sometimes women do have, sort of like in sort of like the business world, and that they do kind of like have that kind of like reservation about, connected. Because if you think about, if you were to come out of the holistic side of it, to female business, if you think about how it's been done over the years, it was women trying to sort of like be like men in the business. So it was difficult to, you didn't want to, it was difficult to approach another woman because you didn't know what kind of reaction you were going to get, because she was trying to make her way uh,
Mhm.
in it. And I think it has changed an awful lot since then.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can imagine in the corporate world, which I don't really know much about, I can imagine there still being a lot of just competitiveness in general. But I feel like, yeah, in the world of entrepreneurship, I feel like more and more people are really not only appreciating collaboration and sisterhood as like these nice concepts, but actually appreciating them as ways that I think more and more women are now kind of walking their talk around desiring those ingredients in their own lives and their own businesses. I mean, I will just say I really appreciate, I mentioned this earlier, I appreciate women like you who already have an innately built into your offerings is this collaborative structure of these interviews. And I think we're seeing more and more of that as well with podcasts, with kind of the explosion of podcasts, more and more women stepping into that world. And that also inherently being collaborative, especially if you're having guest experts. So YouTube as well. So I think some of these platforms that have also just come about in the last 10 years, podcasting, YouTube, all that stuff, Be Live, like this platform that you're using, that those have also made collaboration more fun and more easy, that it doesn't have to be about profit sharing or like, oh, I get 50% and you get 50%. Like those can be valid to when you start weaving in money and things like that. But sometimes a collaboration can be, as simple as like, hey, you have a juicy offering, I have a juicy offering, let's tell our communities about it. I mean, there's so much magic and list building and community building that's available just in something as simple as, I got you, girl, I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back, and just seeking for those kinds of relationships and opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll also say, like even in this conversation, it's like you're inviting me here. The win for me is you're giving me this beautiful spotlight, right? Which I'm incredibly grateful for. And then I'm in turn going to go share this interview and therefore your series with my community of women. So then more women are going to know about you, and you'll have, so it's this lovely weaving. And I think 2021 and beyond, I think, is a really wonderful invitation for women to be seeking those exact types of like win-win beneficial relationships with one another.
Yeah, and I think definitely sort of like 2021 or end of 2020 2021 has actually allowed more women to actually collaborate and connect, because you've had to go online to actually talk to people. And I know I have met so many more amazing women since you had to go online and you couldn't leave your house.
Yes.
So anyone watching this in the future, look back at year 2020 to 2021 when we had this kind of like lockdown thing. Um, but yeah, so that's if you're watching this show, sort of like 10 years in the future, because this show's going to be around forever.
Of course.
Well, it'll be out there on the digital network. Once Saints Recorded, it's there forever. You never ever get rid of it. And so you're stuck with us for years and years.
It's amazing. It's awesome. Who would have it any other way?
Exactly. So have you always done stuff online, or do you in person, or did sort of like the lockdown and everything force you to connect with more people online than you were when you were doing it in person?
Absolutely. I think I used to be the queen of live events. I would produce 1 to 2 live events every month for about 10 years. So live networking events, small like live women's conferences. And when the lockdown happened, I was surprised to find that I didn't miss the live events at all because of the level of connection that I was experiencing through the various online offerings. I remember feeling actually very surprised because I had always just so resonated with, being in live limbic resonance with other women, physically in the same room. I mean, it's like going to a movie theater. In some ways, like, it's been wonderful to just like sit on our couches and just enjoy entertainment during lockdown, like, from the comfort of our own homes. And I think we all have memories of, at some point in life, seeing some movie or something we really loved, and part of the enjoyment being in the theater, right, with that group excitement. So that will never go away, right? There's something so special about the live. But and I think so many people have been so surprised at how much intimacy, connection, heart space is available in the virtual setting. So that's just been a huge aha for me. And yeah, I have just really enjoyed just connecting with my community through all the different online ways, specifically through like webinars. I've really enjoyed teaching a lot this last year. So, and then you and I met in like a virtual women's like
Yeah.
summit conference. So that it's also been lovely because I met so many new women just through that. So really enjoying all the connection available here.
Yeah, and through that, I met some wonderful women as well who've also been guests on my show, and I've been a guest on a couple of their shows as well. So again, it's that collaboration, and it's global as well,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
you can really feel a sense with the energy,
Mhm.
and that it just creates so much momentum that starts moving forward and then touches so many other people's lives.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think before lockdown, I would hear so many women say, "Oh, I really need to take my business online. Oh, yeah, I just really need to finally go online." And it was like we all were forced to. And I think, for the most part, those of us that, there were absolutely women that just needed to take some time to regroup. You focus on family. It was such an intense year in so many very unique and very different ways for all of us. But for those of us that were able to just kind of jump right into the online world, I think, yeah, this was a year of just incredible connection and sisterhood.
Yeah.
So, yeah, grateful to be a part of that with you.
Yes, yes, and with all the other women that we've met. So how do you so apart from the networking, how else do you sort of like help empower and inspire other women?
Well, one thing that I've heard myself say for years, I really believe every woman should have a women's circle. I used to run more spiritually oriented women's circles. I still run circles, but they're specifically for like business
Mm.
related, like kind of sister minding, masterminding. But for many years, I ran women's circles that were just the only intention of those circles were for connection and maybe some shared spiritual practices. Like I know one of the things that we're going to do today is to pull a card. So just things like that, to just be in that delicious, like spiritual space with other sisters. So I just wanted to name that. Especially because I think historically with women I would talk to, would hold themselves back. I would be like, a woman might say, "Well, I don't have a women's circle. Can you connect me?" And it's like, well, start your own. And I think a lot of women's reservations was maybe they lived in a space where it wasn't conducive to hosting women, either because of family or kids or whatever. But I think in this great learning that we've all been through with the online world this last year, it's like, yeah, well, any woman could start a little Zoom circle. I I sometimes have the experience of being able to tell whether a woman has a circle or not. It's a little bit like if you're interfacing with someone who maybe has some wounding or past trauma, which we all do, and you can kind of tell, people who've been through therapy, who've had that space held for them to really process and be in their process and be held in a loving way. I think it's similar to like witnessing a woman who is had that experience with some kind of women's circle, whether it's her actual sisters or women in her family or through her church or something more formal. But there is something very special on an emotional level about feeling like, even if it's just two or three other women that no matter what, have your back. There's something really incredible about that. And I know so many women who have that and so many women who don't. So I just wanted to speak to that piece of just, if I could wave a magic wand, every woman would have some kind of women's circle. And if she doesn't, to maybe take, plant seeds, maybe this conversation plant seeds for her to
Exactly.
gather her own or start her own or be a little more proactive. Because I think sometimes asking for support um, is edgy for us women. We
Yeah.
want to do it all. We're super women. And to just say, hey, I actually need some sisters, and how can we connect? And maybe we have a phone chat once a week, or to find out that connection in a way that's benefit. I have watched so much magic open up in my life because of my women friends and the women that I've allowed myself to be to open to and be intimate with and share with, be vulnerable. Yeah, so much richness that I wish for every woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Even I, for a while, I was, I wasn't that open to sort of like share my feelings and stuff like that. But over the last few years, where I've connected with more and more females in the work I'm doing, and we're forming these little pockets of groups, it's so much easier to actually allow your vulnerabilities and to ask for that help. And
Yeah.
and, and it is, women do have a tendency, especially women healers, of not asking for help from anyone else, because I think, no, I'm on this path, I need to be known. I've got to be strong all the time. And it's like, no, you actually can, allow the emotions to come through. You can seek help from other people. You don't have to do it all yourself.
Yeah. 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 Because that's a huge piece of it. When I remember my mother's generation, and this could very well be cultural, depending on where you live, the town you live, circumstances, because I'm sure there are many women in our mother's generations who were very connected and supported. In some ways, my mother had really wonderful community, and I do remember growing up. But in other ways, she definitely had this mentality that of there, it was like being a martyr. Like she would kind of do it all herself to prove something, who knows what, but then work herself into such overwhelm. To witness that and to want something different from my own life. Um, and I think it's that piece of vulnerability that we're talking about, that it's not only having the community, but actually like letting people in. Um, and where it's possible, like delegating, especially when it comes to our businesses, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all still learning how to do
Yeah.
all of that.
Exactly. But it's good. It's good for the next generation. Um,
Mhm.
and that, I kind of look at, we're kind of like setting the path for them, so that they can actually see that they can work together. The what they can do as a collective,
Mhm.
rather than sort of like by themselves, because they've got all these examples that are going on now,
Yeah.
around the world, than there were, say, when I was growing up.
Yes. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, I think there's a lot of inspiration that we can draw on now that just, yeah, is newer. We're in this amazing wave of feminism and resource sharing and just access to so much in terms of community and information, that we just weren't. I mean, I remember back in the day of like going to the library and looking at paper flyers, to try
Yes. I
to find workshops and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. On your community board, in your library, and now, yeah. What's happening? Oh, drama. Yes, I want to do a drama, join a drama group. Oh, is there? Oh, yeah, there's one there. And that, but yeah, it was the library was really the only place, yeah, that you could find that information for local groups
Yeah.
and everything. And now you just type it into Google and hey, there it is.
Yes. Yeah, so much easier. So much easier.
It is. And it's kind of like, so how would you, I mean, if there were women out there who were kind of like, do you know something, I really do feel I need to connect with other women, but I really don't like making the first move. I'm really kind of like,
Mm.
don't really, I don't really want to speak to anyone, but I know I want to be in a group. Any suggestions on how they can get the confidence or they can actually do that?
Mm. Oh, that's so interesting. Well, I think sometimes, and this, I'll say it. I had two thoughts coming out of my mouth at the same time. So one is, I think it's nice when you're maybe going to be checking out a new community, even if it's a Facebook group or something like that. Or now, oh, what is it? The one where you list Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Yeah. I think if you have a girlfriend with similar interests, it can be nice to enter into those things together. I have 3 women who just recently joined my coaching program who already all knew each other, and they decided to take my coaching program together, which is cool. I think that's really great. So they get to kind of be each other's cheerleaders while they're in this program. But I think on a more casual, personal level, it's a little bit like if you were, checking out a new church or something, to go there with someone else, at least to have one other person, to not feel like you're having to spearhead every conversation or interface all by yourself. I think that can be really lovely. And for women that don't have even that, maybe you're wanting to check out some stuff in a new area, or sorry, my dog is
Yeah.
barking. You're wanting to
Obviously
check
wants to
out some,
join in the show.
yeah, exactly. Then, I think there is sometimes power to just allowing yourself to attend something and not have pressure to really reach out. Oftentimes, if I'm in a new environment, I'll allow myself some time to just observe, and there's actually a mentality that has helped me in more social settings, that when I go out socially, pre-lockdown and hopefully post-lockdown, I actually don't. I used to be like more of a social butterfly, where I felt this almost like obligation to like go around the room and say hi to people.
Yeah.
Now, usually what I do is I find like a super comfy place to sit, and I just let people come to me. And I find that, number one, I get significantly less overwhelmed because it's a little bit of a different pace. It's coming from less of like a
Yeah.
reaching out and more of a receiving. And if there's a moment maybe where nobody's actually talking to me, I think in a social setting, it's okay to eavesdrop on conversations. So if somebody's talking right next to me, I'll just kind of be like, oh, I'm just eavesdropping, that usually works out really well, because it's social. So I call that like a queen bee, like being a queen bee, where you're not going to go out and forage. You're just going to kind of lounge and luxuriate and, let people come to you. And that's worked out really well. So that's, if you're all alone in a new environment, then that can be really great. And also, the other thing I will say is that usually, unless they are really not good at what they're doing, usually an organizer, whoever's organizing, they are in kind of usually networking mode. So connecting with them or people who are obviously on the team, not interrupting them in the middle of a task, but oftentimes they will be, number one, the people with the inside scoop on how to go deeper with this community, but also the people that are actually on the team, the people that are running the show, they are usually in a space to be helpful, to be resourceful, to be curious, to want to know about you because you came to their thing. So that can be a really great place to start. If you're like, I want to reach out, but I just don't want to like go up to random people, reach out to the organizer, reach out to the people that are kind of, putting on the show. That can be just a lovely way to feel like, connected to a new community and like you're being proactive.
Yeah, yeah, and it is also, because you normally can contact the organizer before you go anyway. So just
Absolutely.
say to the organizer, I've never done any of this before. I've never networked or spoken to other people. I'm a little bit nervous about this, and any organizer will go, no worries, I will make sure you're looked after. You're introduced to the right people.
Yes. I've had the pleasure of doing that. I had a woman who was brand new to the area who reached out. She said, I'm a little bit nervous. And I was like, great. On Saturday, because this was a live event, come introduce yourself after the opening circle, because I'll have the bandwidth done to meet you, to drop in with you a little bit, and to introduce you to some of the other women. And I did. And we actually just hopped, it's been about a year. Now we're friends. And we hopped on the phone and she's like, yeah, I've made so many amazing connections just from that one live event. So absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that piece up, because it triggered an actual memory for me of like, oh yeah, that is totally true. Yeah, I'm just there. It comes back to that vulnerability.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and actually say, I am a little bit lost here. I really don't know, what I should be doing. And most of the events that you're going on, community stuff you're going to, they're probably are, they're going to be like-minded people, so
Mhm.
so they're not going to judge you or anything like that. Because I think sometimes that's the fear as well. If you go and make that step to talk to somebody, they're going to judge you on what you say or how you look or anything like that. And quite often in group settings, especially female group things on the more spiritual
Mhm.
holistic side, then they are really friendly,
Mhm.
and they will help you and guide you and talk to you or introduce you to people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think, most organizations and groups probably have some kind of Facebook group, which can be a great way if you're able to go in and just see what kinds of conversations are happening, who are the other members, to just see if you resonate with the way that they're already connecting. I think that can be wonderful insight for a new women's group or women's circle, or a workshop organizer that you're wanting to check out, to just kind of feel into the kind of space that's being held. That can be really helpful for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one of the benefits of Facebook is the groups.
Yeah.
And that, because you can lurk and just watch conversations going on without physically having to take part and decide, yeah, I like this group, or nah, actually, this group's not for me at all. The conversation just doesn't go anywhere near.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's there was actually a really upsetting exchange that happened with a very prominent woman spiritual leader just in the last couple of weeks, where she posted something that was meant to be provocative, but then got really upset when people got provoked. I mean, her post upset a lot of people in her community, and I think they expressed their upset in ways that seemed, like, yes, this is a public forum. And she ended up deleting their posts. And so it was just interesting. I don't know her very well, and I won't go into names or
No.
anything here, but it was just an insight into, oh, I do know women who've done work with her, and it gives me insight into just like the space that's being held or not held, so that is good information. Um, Absolutely, just to know like who is the leadership, what are they all about, what are they a stand for, what are their values. Sometimes you can pick up on some of that just through social media. um, a lot of, on the other side of the coin is that social media is often a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot on social media, partially because of that. It's like I want to, have, conversations, or, like connect with women like you. I already know you. But it can be a wonderful resource. It can be a really wonderful resource. And I think just that leaning back and listening Absolutely. Oh, hi, Jane says hi. Hi,
Yep.
Jane. Good evening.
Yeah, yeah. JJ's in the UK like me, so yeah, so it is evening here. Full moon as well in
Oh,
Scorpio.
fantastic. Yes, yes. Beautiful.
Yes.
Full moon energy. Yeah.
Yes, lots of full moon energy. And as we're talking about full moon energy, I think, do you want to do a card?
Yes, absolutely. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go
Why
first?
don't you go first? You're my
Okay.
guest. You go first.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I had when I you mentioned that we might do this, I went ahead and picked one that I just really resonated. And it's so perfect because I actually didn't realize this when I picked it, that it is so resonant with some of what we've been talking about. So I'll show you the picture of the card, and then I'll read a little excerpt of the energy that's intended by this card, and then one more tiny little paragraph um, that's all about spiritual leadership. So that's really cool. Okay, so this card is from the Mother, hold on, Mary Oracle Guidebook. That's so beautiful, by Alana Fairchild, who is like the queen of Oracle things,
Hi,
all
Kelly.
things Oracle. And then this is the card.
Oh,
Oh, here we go.
wow.
There's the number. Our Lady of Great Power. She's
She
beautiful.
is.
That's card 24. If you have the deck or want to get the deck. Oh, beautiful. Hi, Kelly. Um, and the little spiritual excerpt that goes along with the energy of the card is I'll hold this up while I read it. My robes from the heavens above, in my sacred feet the earth spins. In my eyes the stars of night sky are born and shine. My hair forms galaxies, and in my heart many suns burn with divine love. What is there that could be greater than I? I that am all, I that am love. Any problem or concern, I hold you in my being so vast. There is nothing more powerful than I. I am the love that is all that you are. And I love that. Like, nothing
Wow.
more powerful than the love that you are.
Oh, that is absolutely brilliant.
And then just the leadership piece, it says, we need that leader to inspire us with genuine hope and self-esteem. I think that's kind of what we're talking about just
Yeah,
like
we were
connecting
a
with
minute ago.
organizations and community leaders. And let's see, which helps us feel empowered to make a difference. Our Lady of Great Power comes with a special message from such inspired spiritual leadership, which is the leadership of the Heavenly Mother herself. She tells us that no matter what we may be trying to accomplish upon the earth, she has the power to assist us towards success, and that power is beyond any obstacle.
Amazing. Isn't that brilliant that that card decided it was going to come out?
Perfect. It's amazing.
Perfect. So let's see what these cards have got to say. So this card is going to be pulled as a message both for you, Jessica, and for everyone watching. So let's see what guidance they want to come up with. So, what does Jessica and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? What does Jessica and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good time? Okay, that one's obviously wanting to come out. Okay, distant thunder, clear the air. Yes. So, um, what that is saying to me is that, and I think it ties in with the Scorpio energy that's coming in, is that it's time to actually have that conversation with somebody that you've not been having, that
Mm.
you've been avoiding. You you need to actually have that conversation now,
Mhm.
and actually clear the air. Get it, get it done, dusted. Whatever the outcome of it, that conversation actually needs to actually do that now. So yeah, have that conversation with other people, and yeah, just clear the air, and that will again allow you to actually take that leadership step to actually step into your power, um, of being who you are supposed to be.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And Jane, for thought your card was absolutely, no, it's absolutely beautiful card, and it was absolutely beautiful. And Jane says, "Thank you, and just so true at the moment." Yes, Jane, it is clear. Yes, clear. Yeah, clear the air. Definitely. Um, Anyone who's watching this, and it doesn't matter when you're watching this, that message will be there for you, to clear the air. And also, Jessica, if there's anything you need to clear the air with somebody, now is the time to actually do that.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful, timely card.
It is. So, Jessica, do you have any insights or thoughts to leave our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that I think we're being asked to wake up all of our feminine wisdom. And I think also that, with that just comes like deep. One thing that I really learned this last year during lockdown is, there's a way that I think for those of us that have businesses, some of the work that we have done around putting ourselves out there, or kind of like honing our message around our business, or whatever, any of the work that you might do, and birthing your message out into the world, or birthing your business out into the world, oftentimes stems from really aligning with your values. And I've always thought of empathy and compassion as being like values that I want to align with, right? And I try to really walk my talk when it comes to moving through the world with empathy and compassion. And this last year, what I really, really felt on like a deep felt experience was how empathy and compassion are such deep medicine. Like, not only are their values, in a way, I think previously I was holding them as maybe a little bit more conceptual, or like practices, right? Like meditation, it's kind of this conceptual practice. But I had several deeply felt experiences of empathy and compassion as like deeply healing medicine. And so I just wanted to name that, as we women are being asked to step out in new ways, new ways of being in our leadership, new ways of connection, new ways of operating really in the world, that to just remember to stay in alignment with your values, whatever they are, to really like awakened women. It's really our time to walk our talk in terms of what is sacred to us. So I just wanted to end on that note, I guess, is probably my final piece, because that's been so important for me this last year.
Yeah, oh, that's beautifully said. Thank you for sharing that with us all. So everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this and found it insightful, and the words of wisdom that Jessica's given you will help you further on your journey. So Jessica, if people want to connect with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so they can connect with me through opulentpriestess.com. And then I know you're also including my YouTube channel here, which is, it's not the most developed YouTube channel in the world, but it's something that I'm adding a bunch of my own interviews with other awesome women this next year. So I'll infuse it with some of the amazing collaboration that you're gifting to us, Ray. But yeah, I would just say the website, the YouTube channel, feel free to connect with me. I'm here.
Yeah, and you're on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Yes.
So, and I will put those links in the comments so that if
Thank
anyone wants
you.
to connect with Jessica, they can do. Um, and of course, if you go on to Jessica's website, You've got something there as well, haven't you? That
Oh, yeah. So when you go the Opulent Priestess website, I do have a little free gift for every woman. It's what I call my Opulent Woman Pleasure Self-Care Package. And it's just some really beautiful rituals and resources and tools to just like luxuriate like a goddess this summer, to take deep care of yourself beyond the summer, to really nourish your nervous system and call in whatever it is that you're calling in this next chapter of your life in just really beautiful, feminine, ritualized ways. So that's there for you. So the first thing you'll see when you go to the website.
Yeah, and you're also going to be putting out a ritual handbook, aren't you? I do believe later this year.
Yes, I know. I'm excited for the ritual handbook. Ray's going to be part of it. So, yeah, definitely more information as that's released this summer 2021. But yeah, very excited about that. Just got together some awesome women I know who have amazing things that they're saying and teaching, and just putting it together in just this beautiful downloadable gift of rituals and manifestation practices. So, yeah, looking forward to that, Ray.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be absolutely going to be absolutely brilliant. Of course, my stuff's going to be brilliant as well. I'm gonna say that, but the other women as well, who I know are taking part, they've got some amazing insights for you. So thank you very much, Jessica, for being
Yeah.
on the show. It's been absolutely wonderful having you here, and thank you to Jane and Kelly for being here. And Jane says thank you.
So
Um,
nice.
and sounds amazing. So that's good. That'll be for the for the handbook and that. So thank you, ladies. Um, and of course, if you have reached that crossroads in your life and you need help finding your life purpose or getting clear on your path, then I would love to be that guide for you. Please feel free to reach out and connect with me, and we can arrange a free 20 to 30-minute video call to find out more about each other and whether I can help you take charge of your destiny. And of course, I have the Angel Wings membership community where you get a chance to grow with ascended masters, archangels, gods, goddesses, oracle cards, and of course, other members of the group to actually spread your wings and soar. And of course, if you go onto my website and sign up to my weekly newsletter, then you do get a couple of free gifts with that. So everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more women who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube, do hit the subscribe button and that bell button to be notified of when the show goes live. And I look forward to seeing you all same time, same place next week. So thank you all so much for watching, and thank you, Jessica. It has been absolutely brilliant having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.